Ready to move on to the third game of the day, which is going to be the best game of the
I
weekend.
was about to say, this is my favorite game. So
We have the Baltimore Ravens going into Buffalo and taking on Jefe's Bills. Ravens, slight favorite here, minus 1.5 point line. Total, 50.5, extremely high total. And we have a matchup between last year's MVP and the runner-up for MVP and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Guys, this is the type of game you dream of in week one. I know you said you don't like, we don't always love big divisional games, but I love this one. This is one I'm definitely pumped to watch. And Jefe, we have to start with you. What do you like in this game?
What do I like in this game?
Are you going to say nothing for the third straight?
Guys, here's the thing. Honestly, I find it disrespectful that the Ravens are our favorite here. The Buffalo Bills have proven that they can beat the Ravens when it absolutely matters. Okay, I get it. Mark Andrews did drop a ball that would have probably won them the game, but thus is life, baby. Let me tell you about three constants, okay? Taxes, death, James Cook anytime touchdowns.
Okay.
Okay? That's how that works. If the Bills are going to win this game, and the Bills are going to be the Bills this season, which I think they are, just because, A, they have a cupcake schedule literally after this week. Them and the 49ers legitimately play nobody all year long. This is a tough one, though, for the Bills for sure. The Ravens have revenge on their mind. It was the last game that they played, was in this exact stadium. I'm sure Mark Andrews has already walked in that damn little spot that he's dropped that ball over 1,000 times.
You're right.
Since he's arrived in Buffalo. But I also think Buffalo is, I hate to say this, like, guy, I think it's Buffalo's year. Last year at the stadium, I just think this is it. I know they didn't add anybody big in free agency. I mean, you could say what you want about Joey Bosa. I think he's a little bit old. I don't think he's going to make that much of a difference.
I agree. I don't think so either.
But I also think that the Bills players that they had, just getting them healthy, that was more important than anything. And everybody's healthy right now. It's week one. On the offensive side, Josh Palmer doesn't move anything.
Nothing for me either.
I do think Keon Coleman does get a little bit better.
Can't get worse.
I say a little bit because he can't get worse. But also, guys, just like Tom Brady, didn't matter who his wide receivers are. Just like Patrick Mahomes, don't matter who their wide receivers are. Josh Allen is one of 3, maybe 4 quarterbacks in the league that the second they step on the field, everybody around them gets better. And there's absolutely no way you could argue that.
I agree.
Okay? He, in my opinion, and we just saw Jalen Hurts put on a mobile clinic yesterday, and we all know who Lamar Jackson is. But in my opinion, I think Josh Allen's the best mobile quarterback in the NFL. Not because of his speed, not because of his elusiveness, just because of his goddamn sheer strength. David, that's cute. Don't care.
But by the way, David also is agreeing with you that the Bills are the play, and he also said that it's the Bills' year. If you didn't see the last one that I put up,
it is the Bills' year. Thank you. Sorry, I take that back. I love you. So I'm obviously very protective of the Bills.
Jefe, you taking the bait here? Do you see this taking the bait?
No, Bolt.
I know what I was saying. If it would get you on your bait trend again.
All right. So here's the thing. My place for this game. I'm taking the Bills money line. I would even take Josh Allen anytime touchdown because I do think that's kind of going to be the game plan of the whole year. But I also think James Cook has to do what James Cook did last year for them to be offensively productive. Because if James Cook is not running the ball like he did last year, on his lines, not creating the lanes, and he's not scoring all those touchdowns, the wide receivers are not getting one-on-ones. And Khalil Shakir, who's an absolute route-running god, is not going to catch balls over the top of anybody. Keon Coleman proved to us nothing last year. He needs to prove everything. And like I mentioned to you, Palmer really isn't anything. I also want to say, we're not talking about Dalton Kincaid enough. He was a first-round pick a couple years back. And
Kincaid?
Yeah.
We're talking about Kincaid?
Oh, yeah, Dalton Kincaid. He needs to
I know who he is.
He needs to show up. Other than that, I think Lamar is obviously one of the best players in the league. The Ravens defense is great. I love Kyle Hamilton. I literally love him.
Yeah.
But you know who doesn't impress me? Anybody freaking else not named Derrick Henry or Lamar Jackson on that offense.
Well, see, I kind of feel the opposite of you in terms of when talking about the Bills. So last year I was very high on the Bills train. I thought last year was the Bills' opportunity.
Do me a favor. Stay on the Giants train, please.
I don't think the Giants are winning it either.
Stay for every single stop on that train, baby. You're going to be a fanboy in no time.
Let's take a look at this offense. Outside of Josh Allen, they have James Cook at running back, fantastic running back. You look at their receiver room, and it's just not enough, including their tight end room. Khalil Shakir, Elijah Moore, Keon Coleman, and Curtis Samuel. And then you add in now Josh Palmer. That's not enough. That's not enough out of the AFC. They don't have a good enough defense to keep teams from scoring for them to be a championship contender, in my opinion.
Guys, it's the same team that made the AFC Championship last year. What are you guys on crack?
They don't have enough on the offense. They didn't have enough on the offense last year either. Josh Allen had to do everything, and it's not possible for him to play better than he did last yeyear. It's not possible for him to do even more than what he did. The best they can hope for is for him to do exactly what they did last year. And they wouldn't have won it, and they lost to a team that got blown out in the Super Bowl. So who knows how they would have looked in that game. To me, their offense doesn't have enough weapons. They just do not. Dalton Kincaid has been an absolute bust. For a first-round tight end, he's been an absolute disaster. Dawson Knox is a better player.
Do me a favor. Skip to the part where you take the Ravens on the money line, and let's get this shit moving.
I am on the Ravens on the money line. That is my play on this game. But even bigger, I love some SGP touchdown props from this game. There's a couple 2-touchdown guys I'm absolutely going to be taking. One of them is going to be Josh Allen. He's going to need to be the guy. Can you just stop talking so I can get my plays out? That would be fantastic. So we're going to do this real quick. We're going to put Jefe on mute. And I'm going to go over my pick now. So, 2-touchdown parlay here. I am going to be taking Josh Allen at plus 700 as the first leg. When they get near the goal line, he's the guy. They do their own version of a tush push. It's not the same, but he's the guy that's able to get in by doing his little jump, by doing those little QB sneaks early. I do think he finds the end zone twice. The guy who I think is going to score twice for the Ravens is going to be Derrick Henry. The Buffalo Bills defensive line, they added Bosa. Not enough for me. Not a great run-stopping team last year either. So I do think Derrick Henry will find the end zone twice in this game. So you can currently get that SGP because those are the two legs that I am playing. It's going to be a $10 SGP. I'm going to have several $10 SGPs across the week. But that SGP, you can currently get $10 to win $330. That's exactly what I am playing here. There are other guys that I like in this game as well. I think Lamar Jackson's going to find the end zone rushing. I don't think the Bills' defensive front's going to be able to keep him in the pocket. And when Josh Allen runs in the end zone twice, Lamar's going to want to get a rushing touchdown too. So I'm also playing Lamar Jackson anytime rushing. You can currently get his 1 touchdown here. Let me pull it up. It's some decent odds at plus 200. So that's a plus 200 anytime touchdown. I do think we will see Lamar find the end zone. And Thomas, I appreciate the compliments on the analysis. JD, over to you. What do you got?
Guys, as far as the Bills, if you've watched this show for the past year, you know that I bet the Bills a lot this past year, and not necessarily betting them straight up, but with their team total overs and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I played that a lot this past year. Was the Bills team total over? Josh Allen, love him. You can't see it, but I have a signed Josh Allen thing, literally like right here. Love him. Saying all that. The Ravens are the best team in the NFL. To me, it's simple as that. They are the best team. It's now this year in a playoff game, in these big games, can they actually make the plays? Because to me, from just top to bottom, roster-wise, they are the best team.
So what would you take right now if this was a playoff game? So I'm only taking this because it's regular season. If this was a playoff game, I would take the Bills. I'm going to say that right now. They've proven it to me every year. But regular season is when the Ravens do great, right? So do you take that into your analysis when it's only week 1 picking this kind of game?
I mean, there's a big difference there between as far as because I actually like the health of these teams.
That's very true.
It's two very different things from now until that much later in the year. So a lot depends on actually that. But no, as far as – and that's another thing. As far as the Ravens or as far as the Bills, guys, to me, what is going to hold them back, I think, is their defense. And I think versus this Ravens offense, I think they're going to have a very tough time. I do think the Ravens are going to be able to score plenty of points here. The Ravens game is tough to stop as far as their offense because their run game is so good.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you try to bring guys up to the box, then just Lamar is then just going to beat you actually with his arm. So, I mean, like, it doesn't really matter what you try to do. Like, they can actually beat you in some way. And that's one of the reasons why this team is so good. And as far as their defense, we all know, I mean, like, that's a very solid crew there.
Absolutely.
So, here, another big thing for me here is the preseason. The Ravens went back this year to taking the preseason serious. So almost all of these guys have had reps, and they all look good also. So that's another key thing for me going into this week 1 game. I think the Ravens are ready to go. They're going to come out here. I actually particularly do not think this game is that close. I'm actually going to be taking alt spreads here, up to -9. So
wow, -9. That's a big alt spread. All right, all right. Well, you want to go
know
up to
what? And one other thing before we hit our last game, there was some props that you were saying, and actually one that actually Jefe said, and that's a James Cook touchdown. Over the past 19 games, James Cook has actually scored 14 times. That's 74%. You can currently get his anytime touchdown at DraftKings at +105.
And the matchup thing on here gives you a good indication of what they think's what's gonna happen in this game. They're giving the matchup for the Ravens offensive rushing attack a B-, and they're giving the Buffalo rushing attack against the Ravens defense a D+. So that is telling you right now that they expect the Ravens to be able to run the ball in this game, and they do not expect the Buffalo Bills to be able to run the ball in this game.
And then anytime touchdown. There we go. As far as the quarterbacks go, there shows you for them too.
So 2 guys I am on. We love to see that.